All right, well, I guess that works. Welcome to the joint office hours of Brie and myself. We will be looking into a merge request that I had been working on previously, and where during the review it turned out that we should actually add a feature flag to this because it turns out to be a breaking change. So the plan is to, first off, for me to briefly explain what that change is all about, and then look into how does one actually implement a feature flag. Okay, so let me try to give you the overview. I don't have the correct API documentation open. That is a shame. This is the group level CI variables, right? So GitLab API group variables. See, there you go. So it's about this endpoint. And we have to look at the other endpoint to quickly see what this is about, because you see on the project level CI variables API.
You don't see because you're not sharing your screen just yet.
I'm not sharing my screen. Oh my God, you had to see my unshaved face this entire time. This is horrible. Thank you. Okay, now I'm sharing. And I'm gonna hide the floating meeting controls. Okay, apologies. So this is the MR I was talking about. It changes something in the group level variables API. And if you compare that documentation page to the project level CI/CD variables API, you will notice that the project level has this filter parameter section here, which you need because CI/CD variables can be scoped to an environment. And to be able to work with that in the API, we have this filter thing. So what that means, the scoping is you can have a variable with the same name multiple times, but it has a different scope each time. It's for production, for staging, for testing, whatever. And so if you want to delete your SSH key variable, you will have to tell the system for which scope do you want to delete it, right? Because you probably don't want to delete all three of them. And you can do that. There is no example here, but there is an example here with this filter. You say, I want to filter on the environment scope, and this is the value I want to filter for. This is how that works. And funnily enough, even though it's not mentioned anywhere here, this kind of works for group variables as well. However, not for update. It does work for create, even though it's not documented here. So actually you can run into errors that aren't explained here. And when you try to update it, you will just always update, I think, the first one that was created or the last one. I'm not quite sure, but like it's not really, you're not really in control. So this is what I set out to change. Originally, I thought, based on the documentation, like this just isn't a thing with group variables. And my idea was, well, how hard can it be to copy and paste that from project variables to group variables? And that is actually how I started out for this. But then while working on it, I quickly realized, where is it? Variable scope. Oh, now my Ruby mine is frozen. I quickly realized, actually, as I just said, right, it's already kind of there. For some endpoints, it already works, and for some, is it really frozen? What's going on? Maybe my JDK. No, my JDK is updated. Okay, guess I'll have to force quit it. And so ultimately, what I ended up doing is very little, actually. And I'll be able to show you any second. I mean, I can, while it's still indexing, we can just look at the changes to get a quick overview. So the big part of the changes actually is just adding it to the docs, of course.
That was going to be one of my questions. You mentioned like how important the docs were at first when you're investigating how it was supposed to work. So
yeah, that's
cool.
Then this is the test. So this is literally all that's needed. But I still would prefer showing it here. So let's give that another try. I want to go to this branch. Just a database thing, whatever. And then I also will have to rebase my branch on current main branch. Otherwise, the JDK will not work. Okay. Okay, so in group variables, in the update, it's this. Nope, incorrect. In update. Wait a second, where am I? In update. Oh yeah, no, right. It's this at first. And here I actually did. Is this project variables? I think this is the project variables. So I did end up copy and pasting that. This is just this, the same thing. And then in this change variable service, you have to explicitly specify it if you redefine it here.
Gotcha.
And this is actually it's much better to look at it here. Turns out. So because I'm now redefining it before, I also have to explicitly specify it here. And that's all. And that's really what I did. Like these endpoints are virtually the same.
Gotcha.
There is tiny differences, but I honestly I did a diff between the two. And besides group versus project in the naming of things, there really isn't much difference. And that's how I figure out, oh, wait a second, this must already work for the create endpoint, for example. And yeah, then I did like curl tests locally and stuff, and turns out, yes, that's a thing. So luckily, it was even easier than I thought,
Gotcha.
because basically when group variables had been implemented, this was already like refactored, and as we just saw, right, this change variable service thing, like it's already using all the same code. The only thing that was missing is this: you have to actually tell it to use this variable and first filter it. That's the two changes basically. Yeah, that's so that's about it for the changes. Anything unclear?
Nope, that all makes sense.
Right. And so then let me quickly continue how like the review went, because I did also think like, is this a breaking change?
Right.
It kind of feels like, well, it's actually already kind of broken. We're just fixing something. It's not a big deal, right? Like it's easy to kind of want to, let's just skip that part. But yeah, in the review, thankfully, we ultimately ended up with what again the handbook, the docs say. It's a breaking change if you change a status code other than 500. Like, yes, even here we agree, if we're really just fixing something from a 500, okay, like it's already so broken, like this isn't a breaking change. But in this case, we're changing 409 to a I don't know, like it's changing very mildly, but not from a 500. Like it's currently annoying and not behaving as we want it to, but not really broken. And instead, especially because of what I described earlier. When you do update one currently, it does something. It doesn't necessarily do what you want, and there is no way for you to make it do exactly what you want, but it does something. And with this change, it will fail.
Gotcha.
And that's breaking. So it is a
Yeah.
breaking change. We do need a feature flag. We agreed it would be cool to not just wait until 17 with this change, but put it behind a feature flag. So we're able to already enable it on self-managed and then just roll it out with the feature flag with 17 on .com.
Gotcha. I will say, I think before you pointed to it, I was sitting here wondering when you said you were wondering whether or not it was a breaking change. I was like, we should have written down what is and isn't a breaking change. I think it makes sense that we have examples of what is and what isn't, because there will be a lot of things that
Honestly,
fall into that gray
let me share a little bit more detail about how this conversation went. Like initially, I did basically bring up, is this a breaking change? And initially, like the engineering manager for pipeline security kind of was along my thinking, like it's already kind of broken, like we're just making it better. And then when in the review, the reviewer said like, but actually, like we are changing the status code here, like this will actually change. And then I was like in this conundrum. So one person said, let's go with it. The other person said, I'm not so sure about it. Like, how do I unblock? So I asked the EM again, and luckily he found out or linked to that docs that I just showed. But I was here. Who ultimately decides this was what I was wondering. Like, who's the tiebreaker? And of course, the tiebreaker is the handbook. Of course, right?
Correct.
I was so honestly so happy how this turned out. Like, and I'm curious to find out how to do the feature flag thing. Don't get me wrong, just getting yes, it has been merged, awesome, would have been even more fun. But I'm not complaining. I think the process worked amazingly here. It's in the handbook, it's all there, and now we can try and figure out GitLab developers how to add a feature flag. I know I already found the correct docs once. A little tricky, but here development processes, because usually you get to the feature flag feature documentation, not the feature flag developer documentation. Okay, so here we have create a new feature flag. And I guess we can just use this. We'll have to come up with a good name though. Oh, that's gonna be the hardest thing this entire recording.
Is there guidance on naming feature flags? Like I could see guidance around like verb,
yes,
noun
of course
type
there
stuff.
is.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Choosing a name for a new feature flag. Consider that following a long descriptive name is better than a short but confusing one. Yes. Snake case. Avoid using disable. Yeah. Okay. So what are we doing here? I said it's fix. Well, I called it fix and clarify. Clarify is honestly just about the docs. So I would, for the feature flag, I would go with just the fix aspect of this, right? Because we will only be guarding the code change behind the feature flag. And we'll have to figure out what we'll do with the docs actually, because I think the docs should be updated before 17, but they can't be updated quite in the way that I did it now. We'll have to mention on self-managed, you can, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But that's why I would say if clarify doesn't play a role for the feature flag name. The feature flag really is just about changing the behavior.
So a food for thought. I'm not sure what the answer would be, but fix seems generic.
Yes, it's very much so.
Gotcha.
I'm a big fan of our commit message guidelines, and I have advocated for them at my old job, but it is hard to stay under that limit. So
Yeah,
going
I
for
get it.
fix, yeah. Well, so what does this do? It allows filtering of group level variables in the API. Should we go through the list of all feature flags to get some inspiration for how things are named?
That's not a bad idea. I think it's a good idea.
Feature flag. I was just about to say how very German of you to phrase it that way. Okay. So do we pipeline or maybe something with variables? Exclude protected variables from multiple. Oof, okay.
You know, honestly, I think that a good guideline might be drawing inspiration from the name of the OMR when I start to think about who uses feature flags and how we use them and stuff like that. The title of the MR should, and you might need to adjust the title of the MR, but they should be pretty close.
Yeah, I think I like allow.
Yep.
In the it enables you to sense, right?
Yeah.
This enable this feature flag that will allow you to filter group. So allow group level CI variable filtering. And now it gets messy in API.
You want to qualify that it's REST API?
API filtering.
Do you think it makes sense to clarify it's REST?
Yeah. REST strict. Do we have API here? Hmm. 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 Hmm.
And not all of those are REST.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think most people still default to saying API is REST.
Oh, for sure. Agreed.
Allow group level CI variable REST API filtering. Yeah, I guess.
I could go either way. It's genuinely a question. I tend to be in favor of being clearer about it. There's no cost and length. We mentioned, a long, clear name is better than a short, confusing one.
Yeah.
I could also see an argument for dropping it. So, I don't know.
No, that's honestly that's fine. I don't think it matters too much if it's REST API or API. In general, how do you feel about this one? Group level CI variable API filtering.
I think I want to say filtering. Well, no, that works.
Oh, you mean turning it around, allow filtering group level basically into a sentence? Well, it's a sentence this
now I'm
way
back
too, but
into it.
I know what you mean, but how do we usually phrase that stuff? We don't actually seem to use verbs in that way. So maybe allow filters for. I think I saw something.
Yeah.
With for. Allow protected branches for group. To allow this. Yeah, maybe that's more like it. Allow filters. allow API filters for group level CI variables?
I think that's it.
All right. Yep.
I also could see spending 30 more minutes on it, but maybe later.
Sure. Oops, I closed one too many. Yes. Okay. So how do we create it? We just, and I'm assuming that I will have to go into the GitLab directory to do this. I'm on the correct branch. Yes, I am. And oh my God. Okay. Short-lived, I guess. Development? What? What does it say? Nothing. Okay. Do we have types of feature flags? Okay. Short-lived use for deploying unfinished code to production. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the correct one, but that doesn't quite sound like it's describing. Oh, or maybe it is ops actually. Disable features that might have. I guess it's more ops because the code isn't really unfinished, right? It's just
right.
It might. I mean, it's not a performance impact, but it's a breaking change impact.
That's just an example. I think it's a better fit.
It's not A/B testing. It's not sidekick workers.
No.
I mean, short and long aren't really defined here, but it's a while for 17. So, oh, but do not have rollout issues.
Likely.
Okay. That makes me tend again to say it's this one.
If you scroll back down 1 point in favor of ops, I would personally, long-lived is undefined, but till the next major seemed like a long time. It controls an operational aspect of the product's behavior. I would lean more on that. The example, I think you just don't. What's that?
Is it an operational aspect though? Like
it's
the
not
example
a
with
major
sidekick
one.
workers? I don't know.
This is where I'm saying
Operational to me sounds not just how the product behaves, but like kind of infrastructure almost related.
but it says I think it's poorly defined. I mean, I lean towards it because it's not unfinished code. Is it?
I mean, you could argue it's not finished. It's a chicken and egg thing. Like it's not finished because there's a feature flag around.
Feature flag.
I don't know. I'm now very much tending to development just because it's the default. It's like I'm not sure I've ever seen an ops feature flag, honestly. Like everything I see, and also things that are similar to what we're gonna do seem to use this. It says here I don't need to specify. Oh, but that's probably for the YAML file that's created at the end of this. Okay. The group is nope. Here, pipeline security. Almost worked. URL of the MR introducing the feature flag. I mean, yeah, that will be this one. The rollout issue we don't have yet. Okay. Okay. So do we unverify version files. Okay. Interesting. Okay, what's next? Created it. It's disabled by default, I suppose. Default enabled. False. Okay. Good. And then develop with a feature flag. It's not project related though. But I guess we can just drop that parameter. So we have to go back to the code and basically just oops, and we won't have an else. We don't have the project, and this is here. And this, I'm honestly not quite sure, is variable. No, it won't be defined. So we'll have to have a really ugly second if else with two of these. Let's just start with that. Whatever. This. And now we do have an else. And so if it's enabled, we do the check and the new way of calling this. Otherwise, the old way of calling this. Okay. So I'm sure there is a cleaner way to do this in Ruby code. We can figure that out. But for now, I would like to test if that behaves correctly. So let me bring up my JDK. And then we can, yes, we can use my notes here. So this is where I tested it against gitlab.com. And this is where it's behaving wrong. I marked this with 2 exclamation points. So this is going to be the one that we'll want to test and see different behavior later. Then JDK is still booting up. It's going to take a minute. Okay, so which did I test with this project? No, okay, let's see. The JK test, okay. All right, of course, I tested it with a group, with a project. Which group did I use though? Going on now. Groups. Oh, I'm sure I used this one. 47. No, 74. I know numbers. In Germany, you say it the other way around, and it still sometimes trips me up.
Okay.
And it's so weird because you only do it until 100 and then everything afterwards. But for tens and ones, you for some reason turn them around.
Okay.
All right. So here we should have CI/CD variables. We do test with scope 1 and 2. All right. Because the feature flag is disabled now, it should test environment scope for scope 2. This is just the get unauthorized because my token is incorrect now, of course. Nope. Oh, yeah. Preferences. Okay. Test. Okay, this just needs API. Copy. Export. No worries. This is just the old one of that for my only locally available instance. Okay, so we have new val in here currently. And now if I go back and make that into a put, yeah, I come right back. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is exactly the one that changed this. So if I change it to new val 2222 with scope 2, yeah, you already can see it. It's changed scope to 1 here, right? And we can verify in the UI.
Gotcha.
And this is why it's breaking, because in the future this would actually return an error and tell you. Oh, actually no. This would still work and do the right thing, but what will be breaking is this, because this also changes scope 1, and this is what will break. This will now say, nope, not specific enough. You'll need to tell me which one. This is the breaking change.
Gotcha.
Because it is possible that people rely on always changing the first one by now, and yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a whole
it's really
it's
a very minuscule thing, because you could in theory scope it and still have only one as kind of a way to extra secure it or something, and then it will also work like as expected. But as soon as you have two, it would break. Okay, so now we turn on the feature flag and see if it behaves differently, right?
Yep.
I honestly don't know how to console. Is it that bundle X? Okay, I guess I already did it before. And here, yeah, I mean, it's just feature enable.
Yeah.
Feature enable, allow. Whoa. Oh, yeah, okay. Jeez. All good.
Right.
It is true now. I mean, let's see. So I do it with the filter and scope, and I'll change it to test 1, 2, 3. And it changed scope too, as it should.
Perfect. Cool.
That's it, I guess. Wow.
That's pretty awesome though.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's the first time I've even thought about doing this, so I'm very I'm not sure I trust all this, but it seems right. Seems right. Let's double check in the UI. So for the one with scope 2, we have the new earlier test 1, 2, 3. And this scope 1, this scope 1 now has new val 222 from when we tested it without the feature flag. Let's double check that this 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's going for the correct one. 4, 5, 6. Fresh variables. Scope 1 now has 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Okay. That is pretty cool. So what's like the next step? Develop, Oh, wow, even tells you everything here. That's amazing. Okay. Change log. I didn't have a change log item in my MR before, so I don't think any change behind a feature flag disabled by default should not have a change log. That's our case, right? Change behind a feature flag disabled by default. So we should not have a change log entry. That is great. I guess that is it. I'm a bit. Why is it unversioned? Shouldn't it just be unstaged? So is the config? That means it's in my git ignore, isn't it? That is a bit confusing to me.
Not familiar enough with Ruby mind to say.
I mean, we can.
There you go.
Oh no, it's just untracked. Wow,
Makes sense.
It has been way too long since I worked with JetBrains stuff. Okay. So I mean, then in that case, this commit will guard fix guard filtering behind feature flag. Is that accurate? I mean, in the context of the MR, this is accurate, and it will all be squashed anyway. Okay. Commit. Let's see. Oh no, this one should not fail. Oh, it does. Okay. Use the return of the conditional. What? For variable assignment and what? Is it just okay, wait, what? Does it want me to extract it into a variable? Oh, let's see. To this result. What? Oh. Oh. Okay. Interesting. So it wants me to put variable on the outside to only define it. Okay. I don't like that. It's confusing. Variable is like this. That is awful.
That's kind of gross.
Especially because it's not just one line in here. Like, what is? Jeez. Okay. The indentation.
I did notice that else.
Okay, like this. But what about this?
Ew.
Oh, that would have to go out. That because that doesn't have to do anything. Because it's just about the variable equals, I think.
Gotcha.
Not found. Yeah, unless variable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Ugh, I don't really like that. Will it? Oh no, it will do the same thing here. But no, it didn't. It didn't. Maybe because the execute afterwards. Let's see what it says. No. Oh yeah, now it's complaining about the other two lines, 104, 114. No, it's still sorry. Oh, because the 114 is one block if you do it like that. So I mean, okay, honestly, in the second case, I am kinda okay with it, I guess. That kinda makes sense. I don't know, still not a super big fan of how this looks, but that makes more sense. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Use 2, not 8 spaces for indentation. I just used what JetBrains did. Come on. You don't happen to know if Robocop has like auto formatting or something? Like, can I just tell
No.
it, please fix? Because it even says correctable. Let's see,
Yeah, it does.
Robocop auto fix correctable. Autocorrect, autocorrect. Disable. Can I just... I'm sure we have like some bin whatever thing that I have to use instead of just doing the native tooling. I'm just gonna risk it. It's deprecated. Oh, amazing. Oh, but I should only use this file because otherwise that won't finish here. Okay.
Cool.
Well, okay. Obviously, now it corrected all kinds of ugly code from other people that I have nothing to do with. Or did it? Actually, it looks like it only touched my stuff. But it doesn't look super different. 21 offenses corrected. Yeah, it's all just in that area. Okay. I mean, let's see if we can commit it now. Trust the automation. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I guess fair enough. I do admit though, I now I have to test again because I don't trust it anymore.
Oh yeah.
With the
That's...
different assignments and stuff. Okay, so changing scope 1. It's the new value and it's for scope 1 and for scope 2. Test 000. Scope 2 000. And we should also just try what I just claimed earlier. Yes, okay. So it's still doing everything that it should. It's warning us if we don't specify the parameter, it's updating the correct variables. Sounds good. And I mean, I did add specs for it anyway, so those should fail if this messed up anything.
Gotcha.
And being mindful of time because we're coming up at the end of our meeting.
Yeah, we're over.
We were able to commit. I'm gonna push that to this MR. And then I'll have to figure out how the whole rollout issue thing works. Rollout. Yeah, that I'll still have to figure out. But other than that, this seems good.
Yeah.
I'll just ping the people who already helped me out on the MR to figure that out. And let's hope we'll get this into 16.7.
Yay.
And
Super.
okay, as my final act, first off, I will stop sharing. And then I will figure out how to stop a Zoom recording. I guess it's that button here. Okay, bye-bye.
Gotcha. See ya.